Hi, I'm Patrick from Wargaming. Welcome to episode 3 of How to Play Kill Team. So today we're going to be looking at the initiative phase and the movement phase. So the movement phase is probably the most important phase in Kill Team. It's where all of your tactics are going to be done. So we're going to go in and we'll look at the initiative phase first. So the initiative phase, you do this at the beginning of every battle round. So basically the start of both of your turns. You're going to roll 2d6 each, and the highest one goes first. So if it's a draw, you just re-roll until one of you gets higher than the other one. And that will just determine who is going to start their turn first, and they are going to do all of their movement first. Okay, so whoever gets the initiative does all of their movement first, and then the second player does all of their movement. Okay, so the movement phase. There's 5 things you can do in the movement phase. Okay, so the first thing, you can move. Okay, so on your data sheet, there will be, in the first column, there will be an M, and underneath that will be a number. So, for instance, if it's 6, that means you can move 6 inches. So, if you just move, and you move 6 inches, these counters are really, really good. All you have to do is just put this next to your model, where you've moved it, and that shows what that did in the movement phase. These counters are really, really good just to keep track of what you're doing. So the next thing you can do is advance. Now advancing is basically moving your model a little bit further than its movement. So with advance, you can roll a d6, and whatever you roll, you can add that in inches onto your movement. So say if you move 6 inches, if you roll a 3, you can add that on, so you'll be able to move 9 inches. And then what you'll do is you'll put a little advance token onto whoever you have advanced. So the next thing you can do is ready a model. So you won't be able to move it or advance it or do anything else with it. You just ready the model, which means it will be able to shoot first in the shooting phase. So all of the ready models will shoot first before any other models do anything. You just put a token next to whichever model you've readied. Okay, the next thing you can do is charge. Now, you can charge, you can't move and then charge like you can in Warhammer 40k 8th edition. You either move or charge. So you can charge up to 12 inches. I think there is one faction, the Harlequins, that can charge up to 18 inches. So that means if you're within 12 inches of an enemy model, you can attempt to charge it. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. The model can then react. So if the model hasn't done anything prior to this, then it can, if it wants, retreat. So it can retreat up to 3 inches to make that charge roll even harder. Or it can fire Overwatch, which means it rolls the dice, how many of the dice of the weapon it fires, and it has to hit you on 6s. So once you charge, you roll the dice. In Warhammer 40k 8th edition, normally if you fail a charge and you don't get the required distance, you just don't do anything. But in Kill Team, if for instance there's a model that's 11 inches away, you roll an 8, you can still move up to the 8 inches as long as it is towards that model. So you have to go in a direct line towards that model. So I'm just going to show you using the counters, things you do in the movement phase. So with this model, I'd measure up, it can move 5 inches, so it would move to here. So I would grab a movement token and put that next to him. This one, I'm going to try and advance. So I'm going to roll. Got a 6. So the movement is normally 5. So I'll be able to go 11 inches. So I could move all the way over to here. I don't have to move the whole distance, but I can move as far as I want. So I'll put an advance token on this one. Then over here, I'm going to ready this model. And then I'm going to attempt to charge this model into here. So he's 9 inches away, so I get to roll 2d6 and see how far I get. So I've actually got a 10-inch, so I actually get in. Now this model would have been able to, before I rolled the dice, decided whether he wanted to retreat. This model over here decided whether he wanted to retreat or fire Overwatch. He actually has a shotgun, so he would have been out of range for Overwatch. So let's just say he said, I'll accept it, and yeah, come and charge into me. So then you put a charge token on this one. So lastly, in the movement phase, you can also fall back. So if you're in combat and it's a turn that you haven't been charged, so if you've been charged that turn, you cannot fall back. But if you're in combat and you want to fall back and it's not a turn you've been charged, then you can just move up to your movement distance. So say if that movement is 6 inches, you can fall back up to 6 inches in any direction you want, as long as you're not going to end up within an inch of another enemy model. And as long as you can pass, so if you're surrounded, you wouldn't be allowed to fall back. As long as you can pass through, you get your model through, you can fall back and then just put a fall back token on that model. Okay, just going back to the Overwatch and retreat, which you can do when someone charges you. So you can Overwatch as many times as you want, as long as it's not a successful charge isn't made. So for instance, if we had this guy and these 3 around him, and my first guy charges him, he Overwatches and kills him, then this guy tries to charge him, he can Overwatch again. And then again, if he kills him and he doesn't successful, he can Overwatch again. If he gets in, then he can't Overwatch any other models that are going to charge. So if he wanted to, if he Overwatched and killed him, and then if he wanted to try and then retreat, he can retreat after he's Overwatched. But what he can't do is he can't retreat the 3 inches and then Overwatch. Okay? So, and also if you retreat, you cannot then shoot in the shooting phase or fight in the fight phase. So unless you have the fly keyword, then you can shoot. Okay, so the fly keyword is the only exception to that rule. There's not many models with the fly keyword in Kill Team at the moment. There might be more added in. I think the Tau stealth suit is one of the only ones. So that's not a rule that you'll come across too much at the moment, but more models might get added in with the fly keyword, so just keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching episode 3 of How to Play Kill Team with BFS Wargaming. If you liked it, please give us a like and subscribe, and all the other links to the other videos will be in the description. If you want to check out where you get the counters from, they're available from 40k Gaming. Mad Gaming Terrain make them, but they're available through 40k Gaming, and there will be a link for them in the description as well.